Welcome to NEBA Spotlight. Today we have one of our members, Nancy, presenting on her business from Delane Law Office. So Nancy, tell us about you. Tell us about your business.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, Greg. This talk is about copyright. Okay, assuming that I can do this right. Okay, my name is Nancy Delane. I'm an intellectual property and business lawyer. I'm physically located in Schenectady, New York, which is about 200 miles north of New York City, 200 miles west of Boston, and 200 miles south of Montreal, but my practice spans the globe, and it is my passion to help you nurture your mind child. Now, what is a mind child? A mind child has got to be, well, the child of your mind, okay? That would be the expression of your ideas, okay? You know, I can protect expression. I can't protect ideas. Ideas are thoughts. They're still in your head. We're not the thought police, okay? In terms of who I'm looking for J.K. Rowling when she was still that welfare mom writing Harry Potter on a pub napkin. Okay, I'm looking for tinkerers. I'm looking for techie firms because I do patents as well as copyright and trademark. I'm also looking for business owners and fractional C-suite folks, and I'm looking for graphic artists. Okay, a little story about copyright. I'm sure you all recognize this person. She was a single mom. The character walked into her head, sat down, and stayed there. And so she wrote a book about him. And she shopped that book around to 12 publishers before one of them finally took the chance to publish the book. And they they did a short print run. It was like 1,500 copies. And that sold out probably in the first week. So of course they had to reprint it many times. And thus Harry Potter entered the world. Books are works of authorship. And J.K. Rowling, who was that welfare mom, holds the copyrights in the Harry Potter works, which she has made millions, if not over $1 billion. There are nearly 500 copies of those books that have been sold, and Rowling gets a cut of each and every first, but only first sale. Okay, copyright is a constitutionally guaranteed protection for works of authorship. It protects literary works like Harry Potter. It protects musical works, including the accompanying lyrics. So, you know, My Fair Lady, Sound of Music, you know, the musical plays, Phantom of the Opera. It protects dramatic works, including any accompanying music. Any television show or movie falls into this category. It protects pantomime and choreography. It protects pictures and graphics and sculptural works. There are other ways to protect pictorial, graphic, and sculptural works, but we won't go into those. It protects motion pictures and other audiovisual stuff. It protects sound recordings, and it protects architectural works. And notice that the word idea is not in that list. Okay, we cannot protect your idea. Okay, West Side Story had Romeo and Juliet still had copyright attached, if it ever did. West Side Story would not have infringed Romeo and Juliet, although they are based on the same idea, boy meets girl, star-crossed lovers. The copyright protects the work. It does not protect the idea. Okay, the copyright holder has the exclusive right to reproduce that copyrighted work. So copy and paste, that's copyright infringement. They have the exclusive right to prepare derivative works. They have the exclusive right to distribute copies of their copyrighted work, or to perform their copyrighted work, or to publicly display their copyrighted work, or to perform that copyrighted work by means of a digital auditory transmission such as radio. So if you do any of those things without the permission of the copyright holder, and that includes taking your screenshot system and copying and pasting stuff off the internet, you infringe the copyright in that person's work. And that copyright holder can indeed sue you in federal court. Because copyright, hey, guess what? That's exclusively federal. There's no state-based copyright. It's all federal in the United States. Okay, so when is it protected? Well, it's protected immediately upon affixing that work of authorship into a tangible medium. So because this talk is being recorded, this talk is being affixed into a tangible medium. Okay, so copyright, copyright in a recording gets a little complicated, but the copyright in this content belongs to me. Copyright in the recording, that might belong to NEBA. We'll talk, we can see about that, and I might have an interest in it. Not that I would ever enforce that interest, but the interest is there. However, that copyright cannot be enforced in the United States until you register that work with the Copyright Office and you have that registration certificate in hand. So when is copyright not protected? Well, in practical term, when it's not registered. As I said, the federal courts have decided that they will not hear a copyright infringement case unless the rights holder has that copyright registration certificate. It's also not protected after it expires. And copyright does expire. It lasts a very long time, but it does expire. It expires the life of the author plus 95 years. So 95 years after that author dies, copyright in that work expires. And it always expires on January 1st. We call that Public Domain Day. And it's a happy day for those who are waiting for things to enter the public domain. This year, there were lots of good stuff that entered the public domain. Things like The Jazz Singer, that old movie that everybody loves. I certainly love it. The last of the Sherlock Holmes story. There was something by Hemingway that entered the public domain this year. Basically, things that were copyrighted in 1927 or before are now in the public domain. And every year it rolls. Next year it'll be 1928. Steamboat Willie next year is going to enter the public domain. That's a odd little factoid. So what happens when somebody infringes your copyright? Well, in Coos County, New Hampshire, there was this mom and pop pancake shop, and they were playing the radio in their public space. And in walks the ASCAP rep, and they do this. They walk in anonymously. Guy ordered pancakes, has his meal, sits there, writes down the list of songs that played on that radio. And the mom and pop shop got themselves a walloping lawsuit for that copyright infringement because they didn't have that license to play that music in that space. They tried to argue fair use, didn't work. They did settle this case. This was a case that I actually handled when I was in law school. They came to the Franklin Pierce Law Clinic with their case because they couldn't afford a big Boston firm to do it, and it was ASCAP, and ASCAP has pockets like you wouldn't believe. So they came to Franklin Pierce, and we handled the case for them, and we did get ASCAP to settle, but it was still several $1,000s. And mom and pop now do not play that radio anymore, okay, because they have learned the hard lesson of do not play licensed music in a public space. And I hear it, I walk into a lawyer's office every now and again, and I hear the radio going, and my first thought is, you're a lawyer, let's cut that radio out unless you've got the license. And so I'll ask the lawyer, do you have a license? And they say, no. I say, well, you're lucky I'm not an ASCAP rep. So, yeah, don't, be careful with copyright. It has big teeth. Any questions?
Yes, I do actually. Sorry, really quick. I was curious. Is it when you play music for commercial purpose, or just playing any kind of music in public space can get you in trouble?
Any kind of music in a public space. It has nothing to do with money.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
How come it's not the radio station's responsibility?
Well, because the radio station has no control over who plays their music. And actually, the radio station does have some culpability here, but the radio station probably has the license to play the music.
Right. So they have the license.
The radio station has the license. The business playing the music does not. Two different licenses.
So this is wonderful, Nancy. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
You have my telephone number and my website on the slide there. And all of my info is in the chat.
Awesome. Well, thank you for presenting on you and your business. This will be posted on social media. Please reach out to Nancy. These are some great questions. Really appreciate you stepping up today and presenting and teaching everybody about what you do.
My pleasure.